What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us. This is Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co-host Andrew. Don't get it twisted, Lapache, and this is the Mad Boxing Show, or Mad Boxing for short. Thank you so much for stopping by on this scorcher of a Sunday night. We are recording later on in the evening slash night. It is finally starting to cool down. If your boy's face looks a little toasty, it's not because I hung out with Oscar De La Hoya this weekend. No, it was because I went out of town to Lake Havasu and got a crazy crispy tan. So if your boy face looks a little red, you know exactly why that is. Roughly 120 to 122 down there. Holy fizzle, man! It was hot as a mother. So you got to be careful if you guys are out there. There's excessive heat warnings, not just in Las Vegas and Arizona, but also parts of California, Southern California to be exact. So be careful out there, guys. Keep your pets indoors. Boy, did we get a scorcher of a main event last night on DAZN. That's going to be one of the primary topics that we're going to be talking about last night's DAZN card. And in particular, the co-main event and main event, Raymond Muratalla putting his IBF lightweight title on the line against Robson Conceicao, and the vacant WBC lightweight championship on the line with William Zepeda and Lamont Roach Jr. I feel weird calling him Jr. for some reason. I'm just so used to calling him Lamont Roach, but the Reaper, Lamont Roach Jr. in a great fight, great main event, very TV friendly. The second TNT card, or I guess the Zone card that is going to be aired on TNT. So if you guys were watching it on your DAZN app and got a whole bunch of ads, that is most likely why. I guess very unexpected upset in the preliminary bouts. We're going to briefly touch on that because, you know, I kind of, I don't say I know them that well, but I know who they are because they are locals here in Las Vegas, but we're going to be talking about that. So, of course, the overall card from last night. And then, of course, major news in the saga, the never-ending saga, it seems, of one Devin Haney and his WBO championship, welterweight championship. And, well, Keyshawn Davis, who was yes, the number one contender or the mandatory challenger, apparently he's taking a step back, saying no, that's not going to work. You know, we had our suspicions that we thought at least why he had decided to not take the initial $3 million that was offered, or at least what Bill Haney says, then going to the purse bid, then finding out how much his amount is going to be, and then him backing out of that even still. Holy hell, we're going to be talking about that and how bad that looks. I'm already seeing the AI stuff online of ducking. Holy smokes, they got some good ones. They're pretty funny. This is kind of, you know, this is when we dip our toes into MMA, or at least more so on this show in particular. No more than a week after finding out that MVP, Most Valuable Promotions, has signed a deal with Matchroom to put more focus and spotlight on women's boxing. No more than a week from that, we hear that MVP, the, I guess, MMA branch, has merged with a PFL, which is a distant second place at the moment, at least as far as North American MMA promotions go. But this could be something pretty major, something pretty damn major, I got to say, especially with the connections, I guess we can call it, of one Jake Paul at MVP and what could potentially be for the landscape of MMA. And then we recently got the undercard, rather underwhelming undercard announcement of ROLY, Romero, and Teofimo Lopez. Man, you know, a couple of, maybe one familiar name in there, but yet another top-heavy pay-per-view from PBC. I'm not entirely sure how much that PBC pay-per-view is going to cost, but again, if you have the ultimate package with DAZN, you're going to get it for free there. But if it's a standalone pay-per-view, I'm not sure how much that'll be. But oh boy, that undercard is quite weak. A couple of things we heard from one. This is kind of strange. Robert Garcia. I saw this interview of his recently talking about how he was approached in regards to a Anthony Joshua documentary, and he declined it. He declined. He said, "No, I'm not gonna, because I don't want to lie to you guys. I'm gonna tell you the truth straight up. What in the world could he be talking about? Holy smokes!" Definitely talking about that. And couple of extra things if we have some time, but those are the main topics that we're going to be talking about, of course. So we appreciate you guys stopping by. before I left to Lake Havasu last Friday. I drove out there on Friday. I was able to make it to the William Zepeda and Lamont Roach Jr. weigh-ins here at the Virgin Hotel. And I got as close as I possibly could as far as spectators go. And yes, they totally let me in with my camera and everything. So you best believe I got that recorded. I got a tripod. I got a little mini tripod, which is sort of kind of a selfie stick. So I make it, nice and tall so I can look over people. You guys have checked them out. I appreciate you guys checking that out. I took a look at some of the views recently on those videos, numbering up in the 300s. So I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys watching those videos. 300 views or so, roughly, each video that I put up there. I put the co-main event and the main event. So we appreciate you guys checking out those videos. I try to get you guys something. It's here. I'm going to try to do the same thing for Garcia and Connor Ben when the stuff comes down here. I'm going to try to do the same thing for Teofimo and ROLY. So get as much content as I possibly can for you guys, especially if it's some sort of fight coverage. All right. Before we get to the topics, as always, a quick word from our video sponsor, Health y Sol or Health y Sol. Make sure to check them out. If you happen to find anything you want to try, make sure to use the code MADBoxing10 at checkout and get 10% off of your purchase, or follow the affiliate link that's going to be in the description of this video. As I always say, lavender patchouli is my favorite. So make sure to give them a try. Health y Sol or Health y Sol. Check them out. Tallow-based products, tallow-based soaps. You will not be disappointed. And as always, like, subscribe, share, and comment. We always like to hear from you guys and share our content as much as we can. All right, so we're gonna get crack-a-lagging with the main event of last night's card: William Zepeda versus Lamont Roach Jr. Now, going into this fight, William Zepeda was the underdog, but just barely at plus 125, and I even saw some odds as close to plus 115. So shit was getting tight. And he came through. I did not think. I knew that there was a possibility for him to get it done. I thought maybe because of the momentum that Roach was coming into the match with, or into the fight with, his performance against Pitbull Cruz and Gervonta Davis, that maybe he was going to eke out some of those rounds on the judges' scorecards, and essentially try to do what Tevin Farmer did and Shakur Stevenson and land the cleaner punches on Zepeda and get out of the way of the volume. Well, he was able to land on Zepeda to some degree, but man, he was not able to get out of the way of the volume punches of one Zepeda, who ends up coming away with a unanimous decision victory over Lamont Roach Jr. And claiming the WBC lightweight championship in the process. Now, if you guys paid attention, the co-main event we'll get to in a little bit later on, but the co-main event and the main event had open scoring. I wonder if that had anything to do at all, with any of them. We know that I think it was Lamont's corner telling him, yo, you're going to have to stop him, dude. You're going to have to stop him. They know they were behind at that point because they had announced it. That's one of the things that we like about the open scoring, right? It's not that there's no case for it. Yes, there is definitely a case for open scoring. Personally, I still think that it's a work in progress. I would like to hear more frequent announcements, maybe not after 4 rounds or whatever it is, but rather maybe every other round, or hell, even maybe every round. At that point, you're in real time if the guy is pulling ahead or not. But they're doing that as of right now every 4 rounds. And William Zepeda came through with flying colors. And it was a tough fight nonetheless, because, you can see it in his face, right? But, man, he really laid it on Lamont Roach in a great performance, claiming the WBC lightweight championship. Andrew, let me go ahead and bring you into the show. First and foremost, what did you think of the fight overall, of course, right? And in particular, William Zepeda's performance. And on top of that, of course, Lamont Roach as well.
What's up, dude? The fight, in a lot of ways, it played out how I thought it was going to play out. Last week, I talked about both guys having an avenue to victory. I talked about Roach being relaxed in the ring, and that would give the avenue for Zepeda to outwork him. Why I went with Roach was simply on the resume. Zepeda had the Tevin Farmer incident where it took him back. He had to do it two times. It get people convinced he was past him. And then he had the Shakur meltdown, right? So I gave Roach the advantage because of his performances against Pitbull and Davis. What we did not think about, what they said during the fight, was how many fights Zepeda had in a row before taking some time off, getting re-energized, and then coming back for this fight. Looked totally different. You know, was that the reason? Was he being rushed? Was he being, overworked when he was having those bad showings against Shakur and Farmer? So great showing by Zepeda to come back fresh and put on a hell of a performance. Not untouchable, wasn't 100%. He got hit, but he was able to walk through everything, right? Defense, yes, but there was still shots that Roach landed that Zepeda walked right through. But great on everything else. His output, his pressure, cutting off the ring. Excellent victory for him. It's sad that they didn't put him any higher than number 5 on the ESPN ranking, and when they updated it today, it already has Roach on there as his last victory, yet he's only at number 5. They have Andy Cruz, who's 7-1-4, still above him. I don't get that at all. If I'm Zepeda, maybe I'm fighting Andy Cruz immediately. 7-1-4. Let's go. You think he's going to take that pressure? But maybe not rush him, right? If that was the thing that was making Zepeda look from, because this is the best we've seen him last night. It really was. Punches from everywhere, the angles from everywhere, countering, took initiative, took the lead. It was a very well performed performance by Zepeda. I got nothing bad to say. You look, Roach. Unfortunately, I think he should be a little upset at Al Heyman this morning. Roach worked himself into a position where he should have gotten the rematch with one of the guys. You give him Davis or you give him Pitbull. It's more money. It was well deserved. I just felt it was kind of fucked up that they make him go and fight Zepeda. They put him in, look, the scorecards did not matter. But can I say I don't think they ever would have mattered?
The open scoring had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it.
No, I'm just saying Golden Boy was all over the ropes. The zone was acting if Zepeda couldn't, was walking on water, which he was in most situations, but there were times where, you could have said the fight was a little bit more competitive, right? I'm not here to nitpick, but remember when we talked about Roach not having a promoter, right? Clearly think that was in effect. And if I'm Roach, I'm a little bit upset that I was in that position. Shouldn't he have been a little bit more to the PBC? A company that doesn't have that many fighters left. They just let his guy go over to DAZN. And you know what? Maybe DAZN needs to do a better job of realizing they own the market now. You might want to keep everybody in the loop, right? Not try to make it seem so, Zepeda's walking on water, the other guy isn't. You need everybody. Working right now, DAZN. So, and I think there was a little bit of that still going on with DAZN. They still have a chip on their shoulder, even though the other guys are there and they're kind of the big boys. They're not acting like the big boys, right? Like when Terrence and Sean Porter and all them walk in, I wonder how.
Yeah, and Timothy Bradley in particular.
And Timothy Bradley,
top ranked to the bone, man. That guy.
I wonder how they all interact with each other, but in the media room.
Oh, I'm not even sure if they do. Quite honestly, man, it's almost like the lunchroom at high school. They just kind of get in their own cliques and they stay there and they don't fucking, talk or really, because I mean, there are times where the way they bicker on the air, it's like, damn, these guys are really beefing. What the fuck?
ESPN's bringing guys like Terrence Crawford, Andre Ward, Timothy Bradley. DAZN brings Sergio Mora. They're like, go
Yeah.
get him, Mora. Here's our champ.
Right.
Tell him about all your glory days. What? You only had the title for 6 months. Fuck.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, tell him about the contender then. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Tell him how you got there.
First time.
Yeah. The main, there's only one first, and that's me.
He tells Andre, you won the Super 6? I won ESPN. What? It's the same thing, bro. Same thing.
Yeah. It's like, you got a Super 6 trophy. Look at this contender belt right here, son. Look at this right here.
So yeah, it does seem like there's a little bit of that going on still with DAZN. So hopefully they get through that. But back to the main event, it was a very entertaining fight. It really was. Roach, even though he started getting broken at the end, you could see mentally, physically, he was breaking down from the pressure. But he was trying to land his shots. And yes, I'm gonna say I think open scoring helped him get a little bit of momentum every time he kind of realized that he needed to step up. I felt like they did step up in the very next round. So maybe it plays in the favor of the fans that want to see a second wind. Maybe that is the second wind, right?
Yeah. Do you think Lamont Roach could have done anything differently? Like he steps it up whenever he finds out that he's behind. But I mean, really, was there anything he could have done differently to have maybe pulled away maybe the score a little bit tighter on the scorecards or even the victory?
Well, yeah, that's easy. I mean, that's whatever Terrence and Timothy were talking about at the end of the fight there. The earmuff defense, the too relaxed, which I went and replayed my prediction again. I literally said too relaxed. You know what I mean? He's too relaxed in there. I should have listened to myself. I really should. But the resume, hey, wait a minute.
Right.
I can't go off of that resume. I really didn't know who the Roach was, right? He had two significant draws that I thought were victories. I'm going to bet on that. So, no, you know what? I stand by the bet. Roach kind of let me down with his lack of adjusting, right? That you can't bring the same style every way. You can bring your skills, your speed, your timing and all that, but you got to change up your game plan every once in a while. I should have maybe doubled down or backed myself up with if he does play the too relaxed thing though, right? Maybe that's how that should have came out. But the earmuff defense did not help him. The lack of angles. That
Philly show, he was kind of there for he was able to get out of the way sometimes, but that was just too that's not enough, dude. You have to do something else on top of it, right? It's not anybody can pull that off, but it seemed like, all right, this is enough. I'm just gonna relax here for a second and just gonna block him.
And we did say that the Philly shell, the way you beat that is with throwing a lot of punches. And that's what Zepeda did because they can't dodge them all. And if you're hitting the arms, the glove, if you hit that glove hard enough, that's going to look like a punch to some of the judges on the side, right?
Yeah.
So you just keep punching and he was literally taking 6 to 8 punches sometimes at a time. Not everything was landing,
right? But
I mean, it was like, bro, this isn't going to get it done, I thought he hurt Zepeda with one left hook that actually rocked him. But besides that one single punch, there wasn't too many other punches that looked like it shook Zepeda last night. Showed a granite chin as he was walking through fire, and he really did. He didn't have a lot of move. That's what I'm saying. He wasn't untouchable. It's not like I could be like, oh, pound for pound. No. Now I'd have to look up the rankings of the division where he's at as far as that, but he did make it to the top with Shakur. Now, maybe Golden Boy should reach out to the media and have them push that story about him overworked is the reason why he performed to Shakur. Maybe bring that back. There might be an avenue to bring that fight back one day. So you run the stories about how he was overworked and that's why he looked the way he did. But no, it was an excellent showing for Zepeda.
Do you think Zepeda being southpaw had helped him at all? I know that Roach dealt the way he did, dealt like Gervonta, right? Dealt with Gervonta Davis, who was a southpaw as well. But it just seemed, he was able to get out of the way of some of those lefts. But man, some of those body shots, it almost seemed like the body shots were really starting to affect him later on in the fight. Sometimes it just looked like he folded him over with some of those body shots. But did that? You think the fact that Zepeda was a southpaw helped him at all here, or would that have not changed anything?
Unfortunately, no, because it was Zepeda's output that actually broke down Roach, and it was Roach's lack of movement. I think he went in there with the game plan of my single shots are going to break him down. He was trying the same body shots. He was throwing some pretty good combos of the body himself. These guys did a lot of exchanging early on. Great fight early on. Could have swore, I was screaming. They did too. You know what? They were screaming fire with fire. He's just got to go and do it now. If he doesn't have the energy or that IQ, I don't know, the discipline to hit some angles, do a back step, do something else, but stand there and fight. Well, then you got to throw more shots too. You got to meet his same energy. You know what I mean? And he tried that on some rounds, but with that not being who he is, Zepeda was ever able to break him down by late in that fight. It was a real good old school Mexican versus American boxer fight right there, where the American boxer just started getting outworked. He tried, and the pressure, right?
And I thought that's because, I, of course, was rooting for Zepeda, but I was like, damn, I don't think Zepeda, seeing the trouble that he had with Tevin Farmer, another American boxer, seeing the trouble that he had with Shakur, I was like, damn, I thought, Lamont was going to be able to get it done in that same fashion. But when the guy is throwing a boatload of punches like that and was able, and it didn't even look like he rested at all, like Zepeda at all. Like, it was almost like the same pace. I think I read 880 or 834 punches, something like that he threw. Zepeda, I'm talking about. That's a lot coming at you to try to pick and, number one, try to move out of the way with that shell, and number two, try to pick your shots and try to counter. He was able to do so at certain times, just simply not enough because of the volume that was coming back at him.
Yeah, another thing I think we were talking about that really played out when the fight got started, the size of Zepeda versus Roach. Zepeda was bigger. He was taller. And that's right. Right? And by seeing that, Miguel, how small is Gervonta? Because I remember Roach being bigger than him. That was one of the reasons why I felt like he was breaking him down on the inside. He was just bigger. Gervonta couldn't move him. What would Zepeda look like against Gervonta?
Right.
Like 2-3 inch height advantage, maybe, So that definitely have to think about that next time when Zepeda possibly gets matched up at some point with Gervonta, if that ever happens. It's huge money with Zepeda. The fight made him a bigger star in Mexico. He get another couple of victories like that, and I'm sure Gervonta is going to be on the radar here soon.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny we're talking about sizing and how even smaller Gervonta would be. He should be called the shrimp, right? He should be called a camarón for being as small as he is. Because shit, man, he's just way smaller. Like, I guess we just didn't realize. I'm not sure if I've ever seen him in person to just kind of size him up and be like, damn, this motherfucker really is tiny, But obviously he looks it on TV, right? But to ever see him in person, I'm not sure if I have actually done that. But I would imagine that Gervonta is going to be on Zepeda's radar real soon, especially with the backing of Oscar. I'm sure Oscar De La Hoya is going to love that fucking fight.
The backing of Oscar, the way this TNT deal works out, there's just a lot going on there. I guess they would make that a pay-per-view, but this one was pay-per-view, wasn't it?
No, this one was on regular DAZN, not part of the TNT. Ultimate, and then TNT. Yeah, specifically that.
All right, well, then that one would definitely be a part of the Ultimate, which, unfortunately, they need to figure that out. You guys, I'm telling you, they have to figure out getting this fight back into the closed circuit venues. And if that's not just casinos putting on, closed circuit of a ballroom fight to charge, what about the bars? Right? What about the wings? What is it? Buffalo Wild Wings? Is that the name of that spot that always shows the fights? What happened to all that? Now that we're on DAZN, we have everyone on one network. That's the next thing Eddie Hearn and them need to figure out is honestly, how are we going to get back in the sports book? There's some fights that I just don't, they're just not being shown anymore. And I don't know if the DAZN package changes that, because you remember every time I go up to these sports book guys, they're telling me, is it free? Is it on Paramount? Is it on Netflix? Like, they have those, but they're not paying for pay-per-views. I don't know why DAZN wouldn't give it to the casinos for free. I really don't.
Or like, yes, that, or like at a discount, maybe. Because like, here's the thing: as long as you have,
but at least the sports book for free. Look, the
Okay,
sports
okay.
book could only fill so many people anyways, right? And then maybe the security needs to tell everyone to walk. I don't know how they figure that out, Miguel. But I'm saying, if you want guys to gamble on your sport, the sports book should be able to show the freaking sport.
Yeah.
The zone needs to figure that out on why they can't. How are they going to get back on the sports book?
But if like the sports book isn't, well, actually, is it separate from the casino? Like, do you think? Because like I've seen the sports books have a certain name, like William Hill, right?
That's right.
That's like one entity that's not part of wherever the fuck MGM or whatever casino they happen to be in. So some of them I'm thinking like. I thought at least some sort of discount or something like that, so they can broadcast it all across the whole casino. But I guess technically the sports book is different.
So you would have three of the big ones, right? You've got William Hill. You have MGM Bets. That's owned by MGM Grand, I'm guessing.
As far as I know, yes, Bet
right?
MGM,
It's got the Lions, got everything, and then you have the Caesars one.
Okay.
So when you have those three sports books that basically run Nevada, they would strike a deal with the MGM properties, Caesars properties, and the William Hill sports book. And then wherever their sports books are, they get at least one TV. I don't know, something where they've got to find a way, or go your path and with the Caesars Palace and MGM strike a deal where they get to do closed circuit. And yeah, there must be a way to get this back on, or unfortunately I don't see us being looked at as a major sport by some of the new kids that are watching combat sports. Boxing is not even on when they go to the casino. Like, seriously. I don't know if anyone noticed, but casinos are pretty fucking popular right now. I think even the Trump said we have a fucking gambling addiction right now in America, right? So kids are going.
Yeah, and that would be ideal. I mean, that point that you make is really more is a bigger point. If you're going to offer these kind of the odds for these fights, at least have them on the fucking TV, for crying out loud, and the way things are now with DAZN, basically the majority of all of the major promoters with DAZN, and getting the quote unquote pay-per-views through the ultimate package. Sell that ultimate package at a discount or something like that to some of these fucking casinos or whatever this shit. Like, figure that out so they can have it, so they don't have to order an additional pay-per-view if they're all under this ultimate package shit. They don't have to fork up the extra cash for it. That seems like more of a better deal for the casinos, or specifically, I guess, the sports books. But if they're all included in this ultimate package, cool. Then give them some sort of hookup or something like that, some percentage off. Is it just that there aren't enough people watching it? Like, there's not a demand for it, I guess, is ultimately what it is. Because are they gonna have it up there if nobody's watching it?
Oh, I definitely think the demand dropped when boxing got into this little hissy fit of, PBC was fighting over here, DAZN's over here, Top Ranks on ESPN. You got two pay-per-views on two different platforms. I think all closed circuit venues said, yeah, you guys go fuck yourself for not buying different platforms everywhere, right? Now things have changed. We're on one platform. Now DAZN needs to go out there and sell their product, right? I don't, I think that's a major flaw for boxing right now, is how we're not looked at as a major sport. In my opinion, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Roy Jones, you think these guys would ever be put on the sideline? I mean, there was a time in boxing where we didn't just have Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, right?
Right.
We had a bunch of headliners that used to fill up the casinos,
Mhm.
and I do think it will get there again, as long as we have a platform. And Netflix has given us a big platform, a huge platform to get boxing popular again. And now we're moving on to Paramount, and we have DAZN, they're big. We need to see how everyone's going to react to this new deal that they have now that they own all of the promotional companies under one umbrella. We need to see what their the reaction of the fans are. Like, for example, last night's ratings. I'm praying, Miguel, that TNT and DAZN release something, dude. You got to give us something. But hey, it's gonna be a sad fucking day if they say 200,000 people tuned in on TNT, right? Because that is a place that has a lot of sports. There's a lot of men that are looking at that schedule. They know that the sports is on TNT. I'm hoping that we did good numbers last night.
Yeah, I definitely try to have, because I mean, I took my Fire Stick with me to to go to down. Oh, by the way, I stayed at the hotel, and some family members stayed at like an Airbnb, and I was in the hotel, and the hotel had TNT. So sure enough, I put on TNT to watch the undercard. I was like, fuck yeah, this is a good sign, right? I sure as hell tuned in. When I got back to like the room, what's up?
That's a great sign.
Yeah,
because that means, what hotel were you at?
Roadway Inn.
Okay, you're not a casino, but
No,
hopefully,
no.
but if they were on at the casino, which I think I used to watch basketball in my room, that's a good sign, bro, because that means the sports book might have TNT. They have cable down there,
TNT, right?
Yep. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So that's there's a like glimmer of hope, at least.
There is a glimmer of hope. At
When
least
I
for
went back,
TNT.
when I went meet up with the people that I was there with at the Airbnb, I just plugged in my Fire Stick and we're watching it on the DAZN app. So that was just regular. But in the room, I didn't have to plug it in. I was watching it directly from the TNT channel. So. Okay, so we kind of put the path already for William Zepeda, maybe Gervonta Davis here in the near future. We'll get to the co-main event here in a few moments, but I want to mention that because Raymond Muratalla did say he's going to vacate his belt to move up to 140. You think maybe that might be another route that Zepeda can go and try to pick up that belt? Whomever is the number 2 guy, try to fight for the vacant belt there. Granted, it might not be a big money fight. I know that's kind of where they're trying to go, but collecting more hardware with a vacant belt, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, look at it to be for the newly signed top-ranked fighter, I believe, Frank Martin. Right? Doesn't that sound like a good replacement for that title? Get a vacant title shot for Martin, get a belt on him. Martin might even be working with Al Heyman still, so they have that connection. That's about the only name that I see, and it makes sense because Top Rank just signed him. So look for Zepeda versus Frank Martin here to happen soon.
You heard it here first, everybody.
And most likely, yeah, we'll take that IBF title on the way, because I mean, Shakur Stevenson, don't see him coming back right now. He's doing a little Zuffa run. Muratalla is moving up. Andy Cruz has already lost. He's 7-1-4. I don't really see a market there for him, right? Abdullah Mason's the WBO champ. He's already a champion unless they unify, but I don't know.
Abdullah's oh no, yeah, he still has the WBO champion, right? You're right, yeah.
Yeah. Sam Noakes is there. Does he fight for
DAZN?
So
he's on DAZN. I'm almost certain it's Matchroom, yeah.
All right. Well, there's another possibility. So Sam Noakes and I think Frank Martin are about the only 2 names that I see are relevant enough for Zepeda to fight where he's at right now. And I really like the Frank Martin fight, though.
Yeah, that one's good. I want to throw in, Kid Austin as well, right? Floyd Schofield, if he ever comes back.
I hope
that will be another one, because he just seems to be MIA. Once this fight with Gervonta fell through, he's like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna step away from the limelight, and we don't hear from him.
He's the one that I was just telling you about.
Yes, who does like graphic designs on his AI,
bro. Yes,
that guy. Yes. Precisely.
Absolutely. He's doing great little videos, dude, but I want to see you fight, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, You hinting that you have another career?
Right. We like the fact that you have a backup, but that shouldn't take the first place, man. You're still young. You can still do it. If you guys haven't checked out some of his videos, he has this funny one with Gervonta Davis, who's packing his gym and packing his duffel bag. And then, like, his girl comes and it's like, what's going on? It's like, Kid Austin is coming. And then he's like stuffing right. And then, like, she grabs the belt, like, what do I do with this? And he's like, just leave it. And then they fucking bolt. It's like, oh, boy, that's too funny. That's too funny. But that's good, Schofield, but we prefer to have you in the ring. We like to see there.
Exactly. At some point, we got to fight here, kid.
All right. Anything else you want to add? Oh, you know what? Before I forget, shit, I was going to ask you about this. What's next for Roach? Like, where would he land on that same? Because I was under the impression that maybe going to 140 when he fought Pitbull Cruz and then coming back down to 135 to fight Zepeda might have affected him. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't have that same spring in his legs. I'm just kind of spitballing here, but maybe go back up to 140 and I don't know what would be the case there, but where does this leave Roach going from being the former champ at 130 pounds, moving up to 135 to challenge Gervonta in a draw, moving up to 140 to challenge Pitbull Cruz, that ends up in a draw, and then now a loss?
It's really tough. He's a floater, right? I was gonna say possibly a Zuffa signing here
already, huh? Because
he's 25, 2 and 3. He's going bald.
I did see that, but he doesn't have a lot of grays, does he? Because I have more grays.
He looked old last night. The hair didn't help, Roach. You might want to cut the hair if we're gonna continue to fight. You don't want people to start saying your fight output is matching your hairline. So I don't know, dude. He looks kind of old. He's coming off of a loss. You can't put him in a huge fight right away. Because I was thinking someone like Eddie Hearn would use him for Dalton Smith over there in the UK, right? But do you get him off of a draw, ugly defeat, and then give him immediately another WBC title shot? Suleiman's in the ball game. I could see him letting that move happen. So maybe if Eddie Hearn is trying to make some money off Dalton Smith over there in the UK, he gets a shot at him right away. But besides that, he is risk, not a lot of reward, right?
Yeah.
Sabril Matias, I believe he was doing his own fights in Puerto Rico. Unfortunately, the guy loses more than he wins. I don't know if there's a market there for that fight.
And he just lost, I want to say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Lost TKO by one Dalton Smith. So Keyshawn not there, Stevenson not there, Lopez already fighting. Hitchens is now at 147. Alberto Puello.
Yeah.
He's fighting Dalton Smith November 24th. So them two already have a fight. Even though but I didn't think that fight was going to happen in November, right? So they're still on the board. Maybe he goes after the winner of that one. Maybe something like that, because he's going to need some time off and then come back from this defeat. Am I going too long?
No. I want to, because that's the main event. That's the primary. Why? Because of the. I'm going to stop talking so you can put that back on your screen there. There you go.
Yeah. Oh,
yep.
Yep. We had Starbucks and I kind of fucked up the order, guys. My bad.
He added an additional 2 additional shots. Right.
Yes.
So if at any point during the show you see Andrew hop up from his chair doing the Ultimate Warrior rope shake, it's because he had a couple of extra shots in his coffee.
Fucking thing was $8.95, bro.
Oh.
It was the nastiest coffee. When I took the first drink, I was like, what is it? I should have walked back in. They probably would have said, sir, you said fucking 4 shots in espresso. My bad. I got home. My wife's like, dumbass. That's why she orders it. Dude, I don't order my Starbucks, bro. I was in there, like, I didn't even want to say the word venti. I said large. She said venti. I was like, yeah, that thing. Come on now.
Just give me the 20 ounce, okay? Please. I'll give you the ounces, all right? I know ounces. I know 12 ounce, 14 ounce gloves, 16 ounce gloves. I know the ounces. I'm going to give you a 20 ounce here. I don't know what venti and all these other things mean, right?
She had to repeat it the right way. Venti,
Yeah.
William Venti.
Like, yes, what she said. What she said. I'm not much of a coffee drinker. I only drink it every so often. Usually when I go on road trips, and for the most part, I go somewhere else. I don't. Do you guys have a Dutch Brothers up there? It's kind of popular around here.
Very, yes. And
Okay.
it's too popular for me to even fucking try, Miguel.
Oh, man.
Almost every time the line is out in the parking lot somewhere.
But isn't it pretty fast though? Like it's like the in and out shit, man. Long lines, but they go pretty quick, no?
I never tried.
Mm.
Starbucks is like the thing. I'm a 7-Eleven. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what 7-Eleven is, right?
Of course.
Right.
Yep.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so that's all I drink. Starbucks is like when I want a Snickers bar instead of coffee, right? You buy this,
Right.
this freaking. Well, the way my wife makes it, not the way I make it.
Yeah.
Quad. It says quad on it.
Oh,
What
4.
is? That is it on.
Yeah.
I told you. 4 quad.
I still remember the funny memes of like, yeah, what's your name, sir? So I could put it like Mark with a K, and then he gets it and says Kark. It's like, oh, damn it, lady. Like, no, Mark with a K. Damn it. I hope you didn't put in anything like Andre, and Andrew, you mean? Is that what you mean?
They always call me Angel. That's for real, bro. I say Andrew, right? I don't know. I just happened today too, but no, it's always written Angel on my fucking cup. Like I'm not Angel.
Go by Angel. Just go by Angel. It seems to flow a little bit easier off, and they can usually spell that. All right. Anything else you want to add to that one before we move on to the co-main event?
No, sir.
All right. So the co-main event between one 37-year-old Robson Conceicao, Olympian, 2016 Olympian. I forget what medal he got, but taking on undefeated IBF lightweight champion Raymond Muratalla. Yes, with Robert Garcia in his corner. I think I posted it on our Facebook page years ago, 2012. I think I ran into Robert Garcia at some fight here. I don't know. I took a picture with him, and then I happened to, I see him, of course, at the weigh-ins, and usually they're busy, right? They're off running, doing stuff with their fights, but with their fighters. But I'm walking around. Oh, and then I go to the weigh-ins, right? After I get all the videos that I get, I go have a quick snack at some nearby, spot while I edit the videos and post them on our YouTube channel, which again, appreciate you guys for watching. While I'm eating tater tots, I see Robson Conceicao walk by me. We make eye contact. I mean, no, not the first time. He walks by me twice. I'm like, oh, snap. Just a quick picture. Why not? You know what I'm saying? And I have my stuff still on the table, the tater tots, my camera, the freaking, my microphone and stuff, my headphones, the phone itself. And I'm like, damn, I can't pick all this up to go, ask him for a quick picture. And I don't feel comfortable just leaving the thing there. It wasn't like it was too far, but regardless, he comes by once. The second time he comes by, we make eye contact, and then he just keeps walking. I was like, fuck, I couldn't get him. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get a picture of somebody here today. I don't give a fuck who the fuck it is. Sure enough, I see Robert Garcia on the way to the elevator with his luggage, and I'm like, Robert, quick picture. He's like, yeah, man, let's go. So quick picture. Thank you, Robert, once more. And then I sent it to Andrew. And on our good loyal listener Anthony, and if side by side of the picture that I took with him in 2012 to the one we did, I needed an update one. If you guys remember, I did one with Arizlandi Laura a few months back, but yes, he is there with in the corner of several fighters here, but in particular the IBF lightweight champion Raymond Muratalla. Okay, so Raymond was coming into this fight as the favorite, of course, right? But and undefeated and lightweight champion. He was who took the undefeated record of one Andy Cruz, the aforementioned Andy Cruz, who coming into that fight, even though he was the IBF champion, he was actually the underdog. There was a lot of hype around Andy Cruz because he had I want to say he defeated Keyshawn Davis in the Olympic or the amateurs, and if you hear Andy Cruz talk, he calls Keyshawn Davis his son, all this other stuff, right? Basically, a lot of smack talk. Goes into this fight with Raymond and loses. Muratalla ends up coming with the victory there. Here, another Olympian in Robson Conceicao, Brazilian Olympian. Again, Robson is 37 years old, and in the first few rounds, I'm seeing Muratalla's face get marked up. I'm still, I'm going round after round. I'm giving the rounds to Muratalla, but man, his face is getting like marked up, and I'm like, what's going on here? Is he like scraping his face with the freaking glove laces? What the hell? Because it seemed as though Robson was able to land and mark him up. Even though Muratalla was winning the rounds. Yes, Conceicao's face started showing the markings later on, and I figured maybe because of his age, he was going to slow down. It didn't seem like he slowed down too much. He did, of course, a little bit. Both fighters did, quite frankly. But ultimately, Muratalla came away with the decision and kept his undefeated record intact along with his IBF lightweight championship. Andrew, let me go ahead and bring you back into this topic here. What did you think, first and foremost, of Muratalla's performance? On top of that, Conceicao and the fight overall?
Look, Muratalla is undefeated, 24, or probably now he's 25-0-17. He's a champ. He looked good outboxing Conceicao, but hasn't everyone beat this guy?
It seems as yes. From
right?
Marco Valdez to yeah.
He's like the new Rocky Juarez. You know what I'm saying? This guy's had like 6 freaking title shots. You know what I'm saying? So I think Conceicao knows how to survive. So I don't know how good, or what's the word? I don't even know how to gauge Muratalla on this fight, because I think just Conceicao is going there looking to go 12 rounds. So Top Rank will call him once they need someone to do a fill-in for them, right? Because I believe that's how he keeps getting his shots. So Muratalla did good in the fact that he was in there with the fighter that was playing it safe, probably from bell number 1. I did not like how DAZN was kind of throwing the cheap shot in there about him being 10 years as a lightweight, or just they brought it up a few times about how long he's been at the lightweight division. It kind of starts making you think, Miguel, what's the holdup on him? Right? Like, why hasn't he been in a major fight yet? He's got 25 victories. He's undefeated. Not even a sniff of his name ever gets mentioned, right? So let's see that. They got to move forward with him. We need him in a bigger fight here soon to really see. Conceicao wasn't it. It was good as far as a name as a veteran, but not surprised that he went and lost a 12-round decision.
All right. So it's not really the measuring stick, unfortunately, with Conceicao.
Right, yeah, because I don't think every fighter that Muratalla is going to face is going to be trying to go 12 rounds. They might actually try to win, which will put them in jeopardy of getting hurt and losing and not making it the distance, right? Where this guy seems to go 12 rounds and defeat every single time.
Yeah. Did it surprise you? I guess Muratalla's face. His face seemed to be gotten marked up a lot more than Conceicao, even though he was winning the rounds, at least on my scorecard and for the official scorecards as well. But I swear, after every round, I'm like, oh, there's a new mark. Oh, there's a new mark. There's like, where the hell are these punches? Am I not seeing the punches? What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, they were. He was landing. I know you had brought that up. I didn't see anything that was alarming on Muratalla. Maybe his face is just soft. That might be alarming, right? That he can't take a lot of punishment. But I didn't see Conceicao landing a lot of blows where it was like alarming. Like, man, this kid does take a lot of shots. At least it didn't. I didn't throw up any flags like that. It looked like a straight up victory for Muratalla. He was trying to get it done. One guy's just backing up and trying to see the final bell. Very hard fight to look good in. And we hear that a lot of times with these guys that are trying to go 12. The guy that usually wins goes, it's kind of hard to look good against this dude, right? When all he's trying to do is survive. So they need to do better on the matchmaking with maybe it's time to let Conceicao go. No one's gonna knock him out, Bob. Right. No one's gonna knock him out. You're not gonna get it.
And funny, speaking of Bob and Top Rank, there seems to be yet another fighter that is kind of like, what's the holdup? Bruce Shushu Carrington, WBC champ at 126, 29 years old. Like, what the fuck? Time to put him up. Raymond Muratalla, IBF champ, right? Been I've lightweight for those many years. Also 29 years old. Hello. Let's start like bringing this up. It seems to be now for some reason a trend, at least with Top Rank guys. Maybe it's happening elsewhere, but it seems to be more noticeable with Top Rank guys because it's like, whoa, what's going on, guys? Let's go ahead and up this competition here. That might very well happen now, because Muratalla did say at the end of the fight, while he was being interviewed in the ring, that he's going to be moving up to 140 pounds. All right. Going into, more division with maybe more animals. He's going to drop the 135-pound IBF championship. The way it normally works, they go to the next weight class and they go immediately into the title fight for the same belt that they're just dropping. If you guys recall, Richardson Hitchens has dropped the IBF belt at 140, so I don't think there's a champion there right now. So it seems like it's maybe easier for him to go into that role or fill that particular space of one of the fighters on the other side, maybe fight for that belt. But all right, Andrew, what do you think of him dropping the belt and moving up to 140 pounds? It seems like it's time, to fight with the big dogs, right? I don't know, 140 pound is the spot, but that's the next weight class for him. That puts him in a much better spot, maybe 140.
I mean, look, his time at lightweight's done. He really never got a breakthrough fight there. Unfortunately, at the lightweight or the junior welterweight division right now, there's not a lot of big dogs there for him just to step up. And with that being said, what if Bob got an interest in Lamont Roach last night? He's ranked 10th in the 140 division. He's a big name, right? It's a step up for the young man. So maybe Roach got a phone call last night from Bob, talking about let's do something at 140. But besides that, I just really don't see, there's just not a lot of big names. Now, Matias, was he not fighting for Top Rank, or was he Matchroom?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember right offhand, but I don't remember right offhand which one he was with. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. I feel like I'm thinking he had worked with Bob before, but who knows? But maybe that's potential. But there's just not a lot of everyone seemed to have moved out. Hitchens, Stevenson, and Lopez, they're all gone. These guys all went to 147 now. Gary Antoine Russell's there. He doesn't have an opponent. That would, and you know what? That's PBC. Top Rank and PBC are working together. It's both on the zone. Maybe that's a TNT fight. I don't know. I don't think it's pay-per-view. Unfortunately, they have to give us 12 of them, so it might be now, but it wouldn't have been 5 years ago.
Exactly. Minimum 12. Minimum. I'm going to keep saying this because I swear Eddie Hearn always makes sure to reiterate that word and really emphasize a minimum of 12 pay-per-views. All right, cool. Thank you, Eddie.
We have the young man, Andy Hirosha, the one from Japan. Remember he was jet lagged and almost beat Antoine?
Oh, yes.
We got him down there at 140. Don't know if Bob seems to work with a lot of Japanese fighters, right? Maybe there's an avenue for that one. I don't know how big the market is, but I do want that young man to get another shot here because he put on a hell of a performance coming on like fucking 2 hours of
right
downtime.
Yeah. Jet lag, barely any sleep. Like at first they were like, I don't think, after seeing his performance, the announcers like in the 8th, 9th round were like, I don't think we believe this motherfucker. Like for this dude to get here when he did and like hop in the ring and put on this kind of performance, I mean maybe he asked for 4 shots of espresso in his fucking Starbucks because otherwise I don't know how the hell he would have been able to do or have that kind of performance when he was this jet lagged and barely arriving at the fucking arena. For crying out loud. All right, not a bad. So bye Conceicao, probably about out of Top Rank here. Raymond Muratalla moving up to 140, maybe even with Lamont Roach. It's not a bad idea. Was there something else I wanted to mention? No, I guess that was it for that one. But anything else you want to add to this particular fight before we move on to the next one?
No, sir.
All right. So this one isn't really more story, just kind of like a highlight of the event. I had the privilege of covering Dylan Capetillo's first pro fight, his debut back in, I think it was April, maybe earlier this year. And because I've actually gone to the gym, the Capetillo's gym. If you guys know Jorge Capetillo, he was the cut man for Tyson Fury in that specific fight with, I think it was Otto Wallin, where he got that nasty ass gash, and it was a legit punch. So he was a lot of pressure on him to make sure that that cut doesn't get any worse. And as I understand it, later on, he was even gifted an additional amount of money from a very generous Tyson Fury for that work that he had on that cut. So I knew who he was from then. I started going to his boxing gym here in Las Vegas. Very humble people, very good people. They always very welcoming, a lot of brothers and everything, right? So when I saw him, and this was like years ago, so I see, you know, the young man now at 17 years old, and he ends up, you know, debuting. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta be there. I know who this young man is. So I go down there, right? And sure enough, you know, he wins his first fight, goes a decision the second fight, ends up getting defeated in this in his third professional fight that took place last night on the DAZN card. It was the featured prelim fight. He ends up dropping his opponent in the the second round. Mind you, this is just early in his career. This is only his third fight, and he ends up dropping his opponent, Juan Carlos Becerril, if I'm pronouncing that properly, from Tijuana. He drops him in the second round. I'm like, oh shit, he's got him. He's got him. Well, Becerril stands back up, right? Gets back up, I should say, and continues. And towards the end of the third round, Dylan Capetillo gets dropped by a left hook, and he lands, right. And I'm thinking, oh shit, like, okay, it's the end of the third round. He's okay. He's okay. He's gonna stand up. He'll survive, right? He'll go to his corner, and they'll wake him up, you know. And then he comes out to the fourth, and, you know, finishes the fight or whatever. But the referee stops it at that moment. He sees he's stunned. He tells him to walk forward. He kind of does a little bit and then calls it off. I was like, oh shit, what a major fucking upset. Sucks to see, because, you know, I'm familiar with them. I'm gonna say I know them on a personal level. I don't, but, you know, I've gone to a few of their fights, so I know if I see, you know, his father, he'll see me and recognize me, and he says what's up, right? So it was quite the major upset. We're texting about it while we're watching it. Andrew, what did this young man do wrong that it got caught there that ultimately gave him his first loss?
Look, they basically just said it was the inexperience. He let up for just a few seconds, his defense, and he got hit with the right hand.
Left hand.
Excuse me. Unfortunately, Miguel, I immediately questioned why was all this necessary when his head bounced off the fucking canvas. He's 17, bro. What are we doing? What are we doing, right? The guy was 31 years old. Veteran already, manpower max. 17-year-old does not have the manpower, the strength of a 31-year-old professional fighter, right? Then you tell me they're both undefeated. I was thinking this guy was going to be like 2-17, right?
Right.
With 15 of them coming by way of knockout. No, he's undefeated too.
Yep.
What are we doing here?
And still undefeated with this victory. 3-0 now. Yeah.
So I don't understand why the rush with Dylan was being made like this, especially his third fight in such a short period of time. And then when I seen the internet, the way they responded, Golden Boy prospect knocked out. Golden Boy's big time prospect knocked out. Bro, he's 17 years old. When did he win an Olympic gold medal that I didn't remember? Was he on the Olympic team that I don't remember? No, right? So why are we making it seem like Ryan, you know, not even Ryan Garcia, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that's the thing. I think that's what most people are kind of like leaning towards, that Oscar, you know, I don't know how much longer Oscar's going to have with Ryan. I don't know how much longer Oscar's going to have with Virgil. I mean, a little bit longer, I suppose, right? Because we know that they signed an extension, but it's like running out of stars, needing to make this, so they rush him. That seems to be the sentiment.
Well, that's terrible promoting by Oscar, because he's only 17.
Yeah,
What were you going to rush?
If that's the case.
Yeah, exactly. Because what are you going to rush him in to fight 24-year-olds and 25-year-olds? Guys in their peak of their athletic careers? That's suicide. So I hope that wasn't it. If anything, you slow play this kid, put him on very small venues where he's doing his own thing. But at 17, there was no reason for all of this to be happening so fast for him. And unfortunately, now he has to, you know, hopefully that head bouncing off the canvas didn't actually do some permanent damage to him, because it was an ugly knockout. Now, I know he got up, but I don't like how his head hit that ground, man. That was a double whammy there. So, I do think sometimes there is a downside of being promoted very fast by a big promoter like De La Hoya, and they're feeling the effects of that now. Like sometimes, yes, it's cool you get places faster, but when you're only 17, do you really want to be considered the new prospect of Golden Boy Promotions? Like seriously, that's what Oscar's leaning on, is a 17-year-old with no amateur resume, at least one to speak on. And that's showing you Golden Boy's not in a good spot if that's where we're at. But to be honest with you, I think most guys just like kicking Oscar when he's down. I think they'll call him a bigger prospect than what he actually was, just so they can put it on their headline that he got knocked out. That's just me though, because I don't see Capetillo being that big. Like I don't. You got to tell me what his resume was before we start acting like the former gold medalist just got knocked out that Oscar put all of his money behind. This was the company. Like stop it. That's how many times I seen it on the internet and how many they went viral, the knockout. They were trying to make it seem like that was the company that was being lost right there when it wasn't. Capetillo is another 2-0 fight. I bet you Oscar has 20-something Capetillos on his stable. Unfortunately, I'm not trying to make it sound like cattle, but it is what it is at 2-0, right?
And that's ultimately what it is. It's like when there's so many of them, and there are. That's ultimately what the kind of to look like, right? It's just like, oh shit, well, I'm sure there's another one, because he fights his first victory, he wins the first few seconds of the first round, Capetillo, I'm saying, and immediately Oscar is like, let's put this guy on the next card, and it ends up being on the Zurdo Ramirez and Benavides undercard, like one of the early prelims of that one. So they immediately like forwarded him to that one, right? So now he's on this card on television, and then unfortunately it doesn't go his way. But that may very well be it. Is a lot of the headlines wanting to make a headline out of it. It sucks that it happened for this young man, but I mean, at his age, right, he can recover, right? I mean, of course, it's not like he's some sort of has the company of Golden Boy on his fucking shoulders and nothing like that. Like, it's not to that degree, at least not yet. Let him get to that point. And sometimes I think it almost helps. I know, when you see the nice pretty O on that record, right? Like, oh man, that shit looks fantastic on the poster, yada yada. There are guys that get to the point where they're like 20 some odd and they get that one loss and they're never the fucking same. You know what I'm saying? So I would like, maybe this is my MMA mentality talking, but I don't mind the fact that he fucking lost early in his career. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't have liked for him to lose by fucking this, by knockout. But the fact that he lost like that earlier in his career, I'm not sure if I mind that. I think I'm okay with that. Kind of get that in there, and maybe there's a little bit less pressure on him as he, excels.
Most definitely, and he's only 17. He's gonna grow from this. Let's just hope they put the brakes on how many times he needs to be on TV. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe put him on a smaller venue, put him, get him a few wins under his belt. Put him in with 31-year-olds, just not with so much other pressure on them. Because unfortunately, I don't think the loss will take away the pressure if they put him right back on TV. Right? He's still 17. Kids in his high school are watching him. Right? And that's if he goes to school. I don't know if he's finishing school or not, but if he is, the pressure's right back on him again as soon as they put him back on. So, yeah, it was a very sad defeat. Great knockdown. He got a great knockdown when he hit him with that was a left hook, right?
Yeah, it was also left, exactly. Yeah.
That was a great shot. He landed on him. I'm telling you though, you guys, tonight still would have been me going, what's the rush and what's the end game?
Even if he had won.
Even if he had won, because they kept bringing up he's 17. I'm looking at how young he is, right? I'm looking at how his body hasn't even developed. Are we really going to get him a title shot at what, 21 years of age? 22 years of age? So we're going to watch him for like 5 years do nothing? At some point they're going to have to stall him out anyways because he has to make the jump in opposition. And I don't think a fan base is going to watch someone grow that isn't connected like that, right? Like I said, he has no background. He has no amateur background. He's not the gold medalist. We don't know his story. What was ever going to be the game plan with Capetillo? I think that his dad needs to just hit the brakes on how fast he's trying to move him in the pro ranks.
All right, all right. Very, very insightful, Andrew. I wanted to throw that one at you because you're in a similar position. I mean, not exactly the same, but with your son, and you go and you bring him to the gym, and you take him to the gym, and you try to get him in that part where he's like advancing in slow steps, baby steps, right? And I don't have any kids myself, but like I can imagine, because even after the knockout, Jorge his dad steps in them and hugs him and and embraces them, and just like everybody's good, even Oscar hops on and everything, right? And he seemed in very good spirits. I don't know how things were behind closed doors in the locker room, but obviously, at least in front of the TV screen, he seemed in good spirits and understood. He didn't even protest the stoppage or anything like that. He kind of understood there. But you're in a position where you have your son that you take to the gym, right? And you want to have him progress, but at the pace that is best for him, that frankly there's just no rush in.
Yeah, no, I've actually hit the brakes on his competitions too, because I'm not looking to put him in the nationals at 12 years of age, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not looking for that. So I am doing a lot more just little burner matches, sparring matches, getting him ready for a more disciplined run as when he gets older, though. I don't need all the headshots so young. And I'm not going for 1 week to San Diego. Then if you win there, you got to spend a week over here. My kid's 12 years old. You know what I mean? Like, come on. We don't need all the bells and whistles right now. We're just learning how to fight. That's all we're doing right now, right? And then that will come later on. But yeah, I've even pulled back on some of just looking for a match every month, or you know what I mean? Like he needs to get in. We have him on a few dates. We're trying to match him up right now for the end of the year. That's about it. I think we got him on 3 separate dates. It's kind of hard. We come from a small gym, so we've been putting him on some dates, and we're just not getting matched up for whatever reason.
Yeah,
because sometimes the guys, they already know other trainers. They already have kids that they can match up. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But that's where we're at with that. So yeah, that's what I would say for Capetillo. Also, I want to see him slow it down, man, because he does have skill. Like I said, he did drop that dude in the sack of potatoes. But
alrighty. Anything else you want to add to that before we move on to the next topic?
Nope, that's it.
Alrighty. So this one, oh boy, quite the I don't know what to call it, soap opera, I guess, quite the drama. From the last show that we had, we were extremely excited to tune in to the YouTube channel of one WBO and actually watch the the purse bid for Devin Haney's welterweight championship. As we talked about it last time, I had never seen one before, so I wasn't sure how it works. It was a little weird. I'm not going to say it wasn't. When I tune in and I see these 3 people in the room, one representing Top Rank, one representing Takeover, right? Teofimo Lopez's Takeover Promotions. And then the president, I forget who he was, or whoever is in charge of it. They had the names on there, but I forget the names right offhand. But anyway, point is, I was watching it. And it was a little weird. They passed the envelope, right? He opens the envelope, and it's almost like a little award show. I'm like, what's going on?
You look like the beginning of a porno. I'm sorry, bro.
Right.
It's like a porn set, bro.
They had the couches, right? All they just needed, like, the 5 black dudes behind them and be like, all right, this is how it's going to be. This is a perfect fucking meme right here. So they passed the envelopes, right, with the sexual advance proposal. No, I'm kidding. But with the amounts, right, the cashier's checks of the purse bids, the bids themselves. Teofimo Lopez's people, we'll call them Takeover Promotion, that's what they are, puts like $2 million. I forget the amount specifically, but 2 million roughly, right? All right, well, there's that. And then Top Rank comes in with fucking 8 million, 8.5 million, something like that, like way more than Takeover. We're like, whoa, what the hell? Like, they must really want this fight. Okay, cool. I guess they're gonna get it, right? So there was even a little bit of a discussion about the envelope being sealed or not being sealed. It was just kind of goofy, honestly. But I geeked out a little bit the fact that I was watching it. So I'm like, oh, this is kind of tight. I like watching it. Ultimately, Top Rank won, right? They got it with 8 point something million. I forget the exact amount. I might have it here on my phone somewhere, but
8.5, I believe.
8.5. If you guys recall, 75% of that was going to go to Devin Haney, while 25% going to Keyshawn Davis. All right. Well, if you guys remember, Bill Haney has said that Keyshawn Davis was initially offered $3 million. All right. The businessman said no for his reasons and allowed this fight to go to a purse bid. And ultimately, if I can see here, the total that they were going to get, 6.4 million to Devin Haney, being 75%, and 2.1 million going to Keyshawn Davis. The mandatory, that is 25%. So at this moment, it's basically up to the fighters now to decide whether or not they want to proceed. And it looks as though Keyshawn Davis has officially sent his notice to the WBO that they will not proceed with taking this fight. There was a statement from the WBO that I'm going to be reading here briefly with you guys, just to kind of give you the update. WBO hereby confirms they received a formal written notice from Mr. Josh Dubin, Esquire, duly authorized legal representative of WBO mandatory challenger Keyshawn Davis, advising that Mr. Davis will not accept the 25% purse bid split adjudicated pursuant to the official WBO welterweight championship purse bid proceedings, and consequently will not participate in the ordered championship contest against WBO champion Devin Haney. All right. So as previously mentioned, right, it goes on to the detail. Oh yeah, 8.5 million. It even mentions it here. So if you guys watched it, they gave some proposal dates. So proposed some dates. I guess they offered. They were suggesting sometime later on this year, either in New York. I think they said Barclays. I forget the specific one, or some of them be in Vegas. But ultimately, it was a bit of a. It was kind of all for nothing, quite frankly, at this point, because Keyshawn has officially backed out. That looks really, really bad. I'm already seeing the ducking memes online left and right, not just from Keyshawn, but also Gervonta. This is a funny one that Andrew sent me. All right, Andrew, before we get to Keyshawn actually withdrawing his wanting to continue, what did you think of the purse bid, besides what you just told me, of course, but beyond that, what did you think of the purse bid? Did you enjoy watching it? Was it kind of cool to be part of it, or what did you think of it?
It was cool. It was cool to watch. No, you know what? I didn't watch it live. I watched.
Oh yeah, me neither.
Okay, so I watched it like the highlight, right? You just click on the video. I actually thought it was a podcast. I'm joking when it looked like that interview. What was that backroom interview one?
Right. It's like the back of the, what is it? Oh damn it, I forget what it's called, but those auction spots. I forget what the fuck they're called. But anyway, yes, those.
So, anyways, I'm just joking with you guys. It looked more like a podcast, dude. I was like, oh, check this guy out. He's got fucking belts. I want replica belts. I started like having dreams, like, man, as soon as I hit the lotto, I'm buying fucking belts, and that's gonna be in my podcast. So I totally thought I'm watching an announcement of the purse bid on some Latin dude's podcast, right? And then he's like, the winning bid. I'm like, what the fuck? This is the WBO headquarters? That's when I was like, wow, that thing looks real low budget, man. It looks like he rented a room. It was like, put some belts on the wall. Put a flower pot there. Let's go. Let's run this thing.
Like, get that poster. Yeah, get that Terrence Crawford poster. Put it on there. Yeah.
So yeah, I was kind of thrown back that's the WBC headquarters, but whatever. Look, there's a bunch of things coming out about this purse bid. It should never have happened. He should have accepted the $3 million. Look, they're saying Jay Prince informed Davis not to take it. Then when the bid came in so low, he informed him not to take that too. So I don't know what's going on with Jay Prince. And then Davis unfriended. I know this is just the era we live in, but I guess he is not following Jay Prince, his manager, on Instagram anymore. So
Keyshawn
Davis,
wow.
yeah, so he
I
must
didn't
be
hear
a
about
little.
that part. What the hell? Okay.
So he must be a little upset about what's going on, right? Because everyone's calling him a duck when it's his manager who's telling him not to take either sides of this money, right? Look, Jay Prince is supposed to take 30%. 30% of his 2.1 million. So it's a little over 600,000. That's a lot of money to take, and this is supposed to be the hardest fight of your life. I gotta think that Keyshawn has to think he's gonna at least make $1 million for whatever fight he takes. Right. If he comes back and just has a title defense on TNT, I believe he's gonna make $1 million. So why the fuck would I fight Devin Haney at another weight division I've never even been at for a little over $1 million? So it's a bad business decision how he got himself into this, but I think it's kind of a no-brainer on him rejecting the fight. So it's a good business. I know everyone's going to say, "Oh, bad businessman." I don't know. I think when it all got laid out in front of him, it was the right business decision to make to step away from this fight. Now he needs to go out and see what's wrong with his market.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because that's the majority of people's opinions. Like, holy hell, he's ducking this dude. That he's a terrible business man, if that is the case, et cetera, et cetera. But I get that vantage point, and I guess your point of view. But and I'm even hearing that well, I'm gonna say he, but I'm from his people that they wanted somewhere upwards to 5 million, something like that. I don't know. Again, that's true. That's just what I read online. But what do you think? Like, how does he think that he deserves that amount? Like, he's already at that. He's been a champion at, was it 135? I think. Never defended it because he lost it on the scale. Goes up to 140, misses weight, stuff like that, right? So he's already very unreliable and unreliable. Would you say that? And now going for the WBO championship at 147, like, yo, prove that you can actually handle this shit. X amount of dollars. Granted, it's the biggest fight of his career to this point, but for him to say no to the biggest purse of his career, I think that is where the majority of people are saying, yo, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, boxing's the Wild West.
Sure.
Boxing's dirty. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes, right? We know Keyshawn, what the rumor is, has unfollowed Jay Prince. Was there a bigger fight in play? Did Prince work a deal with HANEY to kind of sabotage the fight, right? So they can move on. Did Jay Prince and Keyshawn Davis, and these are all questions. Don't send anyone to my house.
Right.
Did they play their hand, thinking Turkey was going to call and go, "Oh, I'm interested in Keyshawn versus HANEY. Where do I sign up for this?" I told you guys, Turkey's been quiet, man. Now, we know he's had health issues, but, I mean, this is a guy who was getting his hands almost into every fight that was being made. When's the last time he did that? And this one seemed to have been a decent fight. You would think Rehad Season would want to be on this. You would think the Ring magazine, what happened to all those bells and whistles they were throwing everywhere? It slowed down over there. And maybe they're coming back to reality. Some of these promoters are like, "No, dude, you're not going to get 5 million. I know that whole May 2nd card got 5 million. I know that whole Terrence Crawford thing in LA. They gave Terrence like $10 million that night to fight fucking some dude that had under fucking 12 fights. It's not that anymore. I know Better Be Even Them made 20 million. You just think there's money flying everywhere right now, but no, he's not picking up the phone. He's got health issues. He's got Zuffa issues, boxing issues. Zuffa's got a lot going on right now. But Turkey's not answering the phone. Maybe they overplayed their hands, so they won out. They tried, right? They tried. They didn't get the 5 million, so we're declining everything else as long as it's not 5. He should have took the 3. The 3 million puts him at 2.4, a little under 2.4. You know what I mean? It would have been 2.3 something. Then he would have gotten taxes taken out of that, and at least he still makes legit mill. At 2.1, you're not even making a mill probably after Jay Prince and Uncle Sam get into your bucks.
Yeah, and not to mention the trainers still, and whatever you spend on the camp and everything. So it's already, obviously the 3 mils is a better deal. Probably should have taken that, but it just seems like maybe there's too many people in his ear, including
No, it's just one. It's just Jay Prince. It's the guy he unfollowed. So we need to follow Jay Prince's money. Just kidding. We won't do no reporting like that. Don't send anyone to my house. I know you don't mess with that guy. That's what I was told, eh? No.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, you didn't know Jay. You don't know who Jay Prince is?
I don't know. Yeah. Was in the rap world for a while, right? I mean, that's my extent. I don't know beyond that. Yeah.
Well, that's why I don't. Dude, there was like, I think he even went after Floyd with some bats at Top Rank before. He had to go. Okay. He had to go handle some shit at Top Rank with some bats and some extra hands. Yeah, want some money. Need some money.
Bicycle chain, that kind of thing.
Isn't that where? And isn't Shakur when he was in one of the Migos? Remember when the Migos guy died? One of the rappers, the Migos died, and Shakur was there. That's Jay Prince. That's all of his crew. I think Jay Prince's guys are the ones that shot him, dude.
Whoa, what the fuck? No kidding.
Oh yeah, you don't know about all this, huh?
Yeah, I don't follow that. No.
Yeah. So yeah, Jay Prince pretty big on the street. Don't want to. That's why I say don't come to my house. I'm just a little guy. I'm just asking questions.
Like, who is this guy? And
I didn't know him when I first met him. I already told you the story, but I didn't know him when I first met him, but I know him now.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to start introducing you to the show as like Angel. Like you're Angel now, according to I was like, hey, get these people off him. Like I'm looking for Angel Apichet. Oh, he's over there. He's over there. I don't know who. Like, yeah, I got you. You're gonna be going by Angel now.
No, like let's just say the first name that they threw out after this Davis Haney WBO fight. Did you see who they put at the #1 contender now?
Oh, the other thing that you sent me? Yes. Yeah. I was gonna get to that momentarily. Yes.
But that's what I'm kind of leaning on. Did Haney and Jay Prince work something out? Because we know that's way bigger money. There's so much money there, Miguel. 600,000 might not be that much to give a guy in an envelope. Right?
Right.
Now you just tell your guy to decline the fight. We're gonna go make 20 million over here, and I'll shoot you. We'll shoot you 600K. I'm just asking questions, but I'm just saying, like,
you're asking the right questions, though.
It seems weird that he was like, deny that one. Yeah. Oh shit, deny that one too. Fuck it, we ain't fighting. What?
Yeah. Yes, that's the second part of this story here. According to World Boxing News, that I was able to find on Facebook, WBNSM reported that one Manny Pacquiao is next in line for Devin Haney after Keyshawn Davis withdrew from the mandatory fight. Although in a live session with fans, Manny Pacquiao did not comment on them. So I don't know if he was even asked about it or anything like that, but he definitely didn't mention it. So I don't know if he actually flat out said no comment on that, or if it was just, him not even mentioning it during this particular Facebook live session. But all right, that's a bigger fucking, I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, is that what happened? Jay Prince kind of made a deal on the side over here, and we're going to have a much bigger fight with bigger names, bigger drawing power, right? Obviously, a bigger payday in one Pacquiao versus Devin Haney. All right, that seems pretty logical, right? I mean, he's even been a champion at the WBO champion at 147 before himself, Manny Pacquiao. So, wow, there's just a lot of weird moving parts in this one here, and it looks bad for Keyshawn. It looks like he's just like, no, I don't want anything to do with it. And there's this reoccurring joke of Debo, right? Like Devin Haney being that guy, right? And it's like the more this shit happens, the more it looks like it's actually, he's really ducking them. We don't know the specifics of what's going on behind the scenes, which, obviously we're not going to know until maybe later on. But okay, Andrew, how would you see that? Devin Haney and Manny Pacquiao.
I see it. Look, I see it as a dream fight for the Haneys. I don't know if it's going to generate the money that they think it's going to generate, but I do think they'll make more than $6 million.
Yeah.
So it's a go either way, right? It's just not going to be Floyd type money. Don't start demanding 20 million from someone, right?
Right.
But 12 million easily. I think they could bring 12 million in on that fight. So it's and then it's just a bigger name, and it kind of makes sense on why all this is happening with Devin and Haney, how this thing just fell through. That there was another fight there, right? We know it's not going to be ROLY. ROLY's fighting Lopez. We know it's not going to be Garcia. Garcia's fighting Ben, right? He already beat Norman. It kind of only leaves Manny left. So if there was an avenue, if there was some kind of avenue for the Haneys to strike a deal with Manny Pacquiao, I do think 100% they reached out to Jay Prince and said, we got to wait. Does Davis really want to go to welterweights anyways? All that could have came on the table, right? Maybe they don't want to do the 144 anymore. Let's just do 147. We fuck this catchweight shit because we got Manny Pacquiao at 147.
Yeah.
Right. We don't have to lose any extra pounds for your measly $6 million.
Right.
So the Manny Pacquiao rumor makes me think something dirty happened behind Keyshawn's back, and that's why he might have unfriended his manager.
Damn. Yet another one of these, I mean, not exactly the same, but kind of, sort of Virgil Ortiz and what's his name? I'm trying to remember his name now. I'm forgetting his name, but his manager, right?
Rick Meridian.
Thank you, Rick Meridian. Now we have some shit like that going on. Like, oh, what the fuck? What is going on with these managers? All they're doing is making appointments for them, right? Supposedly. Oh, maybe not. Maybe this is a different kind of an appointment.
Yeah. No, definitely something going on there.
Yeah, and we'll find out what's going to happen. I'm sure very shortly. Like if something happens, because this fight with Keyshawn and Devin was one of the proposed dates. One of the dates that was like I guess suggested was sometime in October, I think they said, but later this year, basically. So if we're gonna get that, well, we're already well into the second half of the year, so we're gonna get to hear something, right? I don't think the year will end without having Devin back in the ring. So I'm sure we're gonna find out here in the very near future what exactly transpired and who his next opponent is gonna end up being. And definitely will not be surprised if his next opponent ends up being Manny Pacquiao. Holy shit. All right. Anything else you want to add to that one before we move on to the next topic?
No, sir.
All right. So this one, we kind of talked about it earlier about the DAZN pay-per-view minimum of 12 pay-per-views, right, that we get on the Ultimate Package. The next one that will be the 22nd of August, with ROLY Romero taking on Teofimo Lopez. And recently, PBC and DAZN together, because they're both tagged on their social media, specifically Instagram, has released the undercard. Let's just say it's quite underwhelming. I look at some of these names on here. I try to follow boxing as much as I can. I don't fucking recall any of these. I don't recognize any of these names. I saw the last name of Santillan, and I was like, "Oh shit, is this Giovanni dude who fucking lost to Brian Norman Jr.? Like that, they put on a great fight." And no, I think this is a different guy. This guy's name is Victor. Unless I'm getting the names wrong, but I see Russell. I'm like, "Oh shit, Russell." Wait, hold on, Antonio Russell. Like what? I'm like, what is this shit? Man. And the co-main event, Yoenli Hernandez taking on Francisco Daniel Veron, the WBA Super Bantamweight Championship. Super Bantamweight 122, kind of smaller guys. That's going to take the spot out as a co-main event. I'm sure it'll be a great fight, but man, little to no star power, little to no name recognition. Yes, we have ROLY and Teofimo at the top. this card is obviously, now that I'm noticing, very, very, very top heavy. It will still be on DAZN pay-per-view or even PBC pay-per-view the 22nd of August. That's a Saturday, of course, from the T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas. As I mentioned, when the fights are in town, I'm going to try to go get as much footage as I possibly can. This one will be no exception. I'm going to try to head on down there and see what I can get. But Andrew, when you saw, I sent you this earlier, the names on the undercard, man, are these the kind of pay-per-views? I get the main event, guys, but man, these are really the kind of pay-per-views that DAZN is going to try to force feed us as part of the ultimate package.
Well, definitely it's going to be a pay-per-view fight because of the main event. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know any of the fighters on the undercard. But Romero Lopez would still be good enough for me to purchase the pay-per-view. So I'm paying the money just to watch the main event. But it does suck. I don't know. PBC, they've been doing good at putting on their pay-per-view.
That's why it was so surprising, because as of late, they've really stacked the undercards, and it makes it worth wanting to pay for the pay-per-view, right? And not just the main event, because by and large, people tune in for the main event. We get that. But we do want to get our money's worth, and if we're going to fork up what I presume is going to be $75. I think they're going to go that direction. I haven't looked online to see what the exact amount is. I'm sure the amount is already, listed, because of course we're already in August and this fight's on the 22nd. So 3 weeks from now, roughly. So I'm sure the price is already there. As a matter of fact, in a few short moments here, I'm going to go on to my DAZN app and see if it allows me to quote unquote buy it, so I can take a look at what the price is. But yeah, it's underwhelming, the undercard that they're going to get, especially considering how good some of these PBC undercards have been lately.
We have to put out there, though, even though they've given us some great pay-per-view undercards lately, the numbers aren't showing it, right? The fans just aren't buying them. So look, the word is out there that PBC doesn't have any money anymore. They're close to being shutting their doors, right? He's got a few stars he's living on. Sounds like he wasn't really paying his guys. So it sounds like the PBC has a bunch of probably debt in their company where they owe fighters still. I'm more sure their guys are already up to the scam of, hey, can I get you on the next one? Can you just do this fight for me? And I promise, once the numbers come in, we'll get you. I'm sure that line isn't working with a lot of these PBC veterans anymore. So it's like, nah, dude, not even answering your call until you pay me for the last fight we did, right? So I think that's what's happening with L, and unfortunately, if he does this with the TNT contract a little bit more, look for them just to take their main headliners and leave everyone else on the side of the road, or on prelims, maybe they'll be getting paid to show up, but they're going to take the power away from Al Heyman. Because look, his first PBC card, didn't he have the first one on TNT, right? The Zoo.
Not on TNT, on Amazon Prime.
Oh, that was Amazon Prime.
Yeah. The first TNT one was the July 4th one with Abdullah Mason, and that was like Top Rank that took over that time. But the first PBC one with Amazon Prime was Tim Tszyu and Bakram.
Okay, but it was on DAZN though too.
No, that one was strictly.
Yes, it was.
What the Tim Tszyu one?
Yeah, remember they said this was going to be the first fight on.
Oh, Tim Tszyu and you're talking about Spence. Yes, that's the zone. Oh, no, shit. Let me get it right. That's PBC's first DAZN event. Yes, that part.
Okay.
Right. Sorry. Yeah.
And that one fell through, and all of his fighters coming in 10 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
The other dude doesn't even make it to the country. So DAZN must have been like, "What the fuck, man?" Then we come into this card. Might be another shit show disaster in the beginning. This is going to be a set, where they're going to be like, "Hey, AL, well, we got a list of guys we probably just want to work with, and we're gonna handle it from here."
Right.
You're the manager though, but we don't need PBC to be putting any more cards together.
Yeah, guys that aren't going to come through. So I just looked it up. $79.99. In other words, $80. Yeah, as a standalone, but it does say $49.99 if you decide to go with like the monthly subscription, right? Like we're talking about it It's gonna not end if you pay the 500 some odd dollars. That's like at the beginning of the year, right? So if you pay the 49 and change, it's gonna end up being less than the $500 if I'm calculating it correctly from here on out. But if you want to pay at least for 1 month of the Zone Ultimate Package, you can pay $50 and get as many of them. Let me see here. There's only going to be, well, damn, that's like the main pay-per-view for August because Garcia and Ben isn't until September. Fuck, so you don't even get like 2 big pay-per-views. I'm sure there's going to be some like UK pay-per-views or some shit that you wouldn't have to pay for.
What's the date? What's the date of Romero Lopez?
The 22nd of August.
Okay, well then buy it on the 21st, and if you go a month, isn't that until the 21st of September?
I'm not sure that's how it works. It would be tight.
Huh? Yeah, or they would only give you until the end of August.
Until the end of August. That's what I'm thinking. That I mean, I'm sure they've thought about that. That, you know, at least that part. I would assume, of course. They can't seem to figure out the damn audio issues that they've been having every single damn show, but you best believe they're going to make sure they're not going to hook us up that way. It's not from like cycle to cycle, like, oh yeah, I start on 21st, so it's going to be the 21st of September when it ends.
That's what I'm telling you, dude. The guys were like, hey, let's ask Sean Porter and Terrence Crawford what they think. Cut their mic. Did you notice every time we went to the ESPN guys, oh, we can't hear them. We go back to the Zone guys, and we're down here ringside. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck was going on up there. Oh, dude, they're playing those dudes hard, man. And you're right, Miguel. It was like after the 3rd time, producer in the,
Right.
the trailer hasn't gotten the phone call yet that no one can hear shit over the telecast. Come on. There was something. Somebody fumbled the ball hard down there on the floor. You know that guy that's playing with all those speaker wires?
Right.
He did not figure the shit out because I guarantee you the producer got the call saying we're not hearing the fucking guys up top. Figure it out. He calls down to the floor and goes, figure the shit out. Fuckface on the floor didn't figure it out.
Mm-hmm. And if you if you go check on this guy, right? This fuckface that we're talking about, and you see, you know, the monitor that he's got in front of him, he's probably playing solitaire on some fucking like, you know, game, just fucking around playing solitaire on there on Windows 95 or some shit. Not paying attention, not knowing, not really realizing.
His phone is on silent, didn't fucking remember. He's got like 1 million fucking text messages, phone call, missed calls. Turn on the fucking mics, you asshole, you're fired.
Yeah, or unless it was a little deliberate, and the guy's just kind of like ready and back, right, and we're back, okay, and just continuously unplugging the fucking cable like old school.
Sergio Moro's all. Do you know how limited my time is? If you start letting Sean Porter, Terrence Crawford, and Timothy Bradley talk,
yeah, or Sergio Moro himself, it was like a $20. It's like, hey, pull their mics.
That's all. Yes.
Oh boy. Like, I'll hook you up with credentials next time. Just
they should have more. Someone should put him on the head. Remember Forrest Gump when that dude starts pulling all the wires?
Yeah.
That should be more doing that to them upstairs. No, I don't need this shit.
More with like a name tag with like the Zone logo on there. It's just like, yes, I'm a proud representative of the Zone here.
He's trying to save that job, man.
Yes.
I want to say
security.
Someone did bring up the his resume not too long ago.
You mean like his boxing resume or what he's done? Oh, okay.
Yeah, what? He was a champ for 6 months and the ESPN thing. That's about all he has going for him, you know?
Yeah, and you know, I mean, realistically, we said it like at the very beginning. Once we saw that them, you know, Todd Grisham, we were like the WWE guy because he was for WWE for a hot minute, and then you know Chris Mannix. I know Mannix because he was a reporter for Sports Illustrated for a while, or at least a journalist. So I'm like, all right, I know who he is, and I've seen him every so often. I saw him on HBO a few times actually back in the day. But besides that, I'm like, all right, well, this guy, I know he's a journalist, but really, Mora, he's supposed to be the the Roy Jones, I guess, or no, of color commentary team or whatever. I mean, anybody else, he's gotten better. I'm not gonna say he hasn't gotten better, but it's like, oh boy, like this is the guy that we decided to go with.
It was cool when DAZN was like unknown to America, right? They were like, hey, we have that guy that was real big on ESPN, and fuck, who knows? DAZN might have thought they actually had a star when they got the Contender boxer, right? Not knowing that, no, you put him in the room with Timothy Bradley, Andre Ward, and Terrence Crawford, and he becomes a very small fish. Like, obviously, they're going to respect him because he was a fighter, right? I'm not trying to take away that he's like less of a man or brave, be as brave as they are. But you guys, and we're talking about resume, like they would pull his card really fast.
What was his big victory? Was it Shane
Vernon Forrest.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. Maybe they know it's like, oh, his guy beat Vernon Forrest. All right, cool. In that case,
who was a bad man. I won't take that away.
Yeah, definitely. But that's it. I mean,
and Forrest reclaims the title months later. He comes back and beats him in the rematch. Dude, Forrest, no one wanted him. De La Hoya never faced him. Felix Trinidad, Pernell Whitaker, Ike Corte. That dude was sitting at the welterweight division for years, man, and they never faced him. So yeah, who would have known how legendary Forrest could have been? Because dude, he was all boxer. I mean, we all know Tito couldn't fucking stop a jab right hand, right? Forrest might fucking annihilate that guy, and Pernell was old. That's why he didn't want to take him on. And De La Hoya, really, really bad against right hands himself. Vernon was a thing of itself, but sorry, dude.
No, it's fine. Although, Mora did win by majority decision, so one judge did have it draw. And then in the rematch, oh boy, it was like 117, 110, 119, 110. But he did it, right? I mean,
he wasn't drinking in the rematch. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. He wasn't partying late night. Yeah, exactly.
Who am I fighting? The ESPN guy? Fuck that guy.
Yeah, it's like the Manfredo guy. Like, no, the other guy. All right, yeah, that's fine. Sure, why not? Not the runner up. I guess I should have trained harder because of the guy who won the damn thing. Right. Anything else you want to add to this before we move on to the next? This really underwhelming undercard from ROLY, Romero, and Teofimo Lopez.
No, sir.
All right. So, Andrew, I certainly hope that those 4 shots has kicked in by now, because I'm gonna need you on all cylinders on this one here. I want to hear it. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, no more than a week removed since MVP had announced that they're going to be forming an alliance with Matchroom Boxing to put more focus on women's boxing and put it to the forefront as much as they possibly can, with their star, I guess they're trying to make a star, in Sky Nicholson. A week later, MVP announces that they have officially merged with the PFL. Yes, that's Professional Fighters League. And that is basically the de facto, if you want to call it that, by default, the number 2 MMA organization in the United States and North America, I think, in general. And this could mean major, major things. It could. And Andrew and I were discussing this when it first happened. I'm going to go ahead and read just a couple of quick paragraphs from ESPN. Most Valuable Promotions and PFL announced Thursday that they are merging under a consolidated banner of MVP MMA. It sounds as though they're going to remove the PFL from here on out. It might not be called that. They're just changing it. And then it says a move both companies believe will accelerate their growth in combat sports landscape. MVP co-founder Jake Paul has promised the company will directly target and compete with the UFC. MVP, led by Jake Paul and co-founder Nakisa Badarian, have been active in boxing since 2021. The company made its MMA promotional debut in May, featuring the return of pioneers Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano on Netflix. The PFL, which launched in 2018 and currently airs on ESPN, is led by CEO John Martin. In a joint interview with ESPN, Badarian and Martin discuss how the merger came together, et cetera, et cetera. There's just more stuff that we're going to talk about. But back when Jake Paul had his MMA event on Netflix, I actually posed this question to Andrew. Like, there was a time, I think in 2023, that MVP or specifically Jake Paul, had some sort of partnership with the PFL, and there was even some promotional pictures of him in some PFL gloves throwing, with the PFL shorts, as if it was going to at some point enter the cage and fight there. Ultimately, that never happened, and frankly, nothing came of it. At some point, the PFL parted ways with Francis Ngannou and then parted ways with Jake Paul. And it's like, well, what the fuck was that about? When that card came out with Carano and Rousey, I was like, yo, why don't they just call up the PFL? They were just cool with them. They parted ways, but get some people from them to come and be on the undercard and maybe give them notoriety. That didn't happen, but I figured, shit, why the fuck not? And then we get this bombshell that they're going to be merging. Andrew and I were discussing it over Instagram. I try not to get too excited because, quite frankly, I've been a fan long enough to see people come and go from the business and the industry, and the ones that have remained are the UFC here. But Andrew, this is a little bit of a different scenario because now it's not a pay-per-view based thing the way it was back in the day. It's really more so Netflix streaming services, right? Stuff like that, which I don't think Netflix is in it for that to that degree that they're going to want a whole calendar full of fights. They're going to only want the big ones, right? How many times can MVP deliver with big numbers without him or without Ronda Rousey? I don't know if they're going to bring her back, but this is the part that I'm a little skeptical about how much of a success it could potentially be. It may very well be something big. It may, but I'm simply saying it might be too early to tell. Andrew, go ahead and sound off. I want to hear what you got to say.
Well, look, did the PFL see what Jake Paul put on his Instagram about him absorbing the PFL? Did you see that post? It was not a merger.
Mm.
He's showing MVP and PFL dissolving into it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just left MVP. So is this a merger or a buyout? You know what I mean?
The way it looks like a buyout. It totally looks a buyout because on top of what you just said, it looks as though they're going to probably get rid of the PFL name altogether. It's just going to be MVP MMA. That's what it looks like.
Okay. All right. So, Miguel, look it, man. I've been telling you, I'm glad that I got on the Jake Paul train.
you jumped on the bandwagon early enough?
A while ago, right? Remember?
Yeah, you did. You did.
Ago.
Yes.
I think when he showed me what him and he could do on Netflix and how big Netflix could be for boxing, I really started going, you know what? The kid might be douchey trying to be a boxer, but he has it as a promoter. Mm. And I think, again, they're showing that Jake Paul has it as a promoter, asking him to take over the PFL and take it to a new platform. And the reason why I think he can do it is because, unfortunately, Miguel, there's a lot of kids his age and about 10 years younger that want to be like him. He is the new in thing for young men in his demographic. And his, I don't want to get all the young white guys, right? There's a lot of white guys out there that want to be Jake Paul right now, right?
Basically what the UFC was in like 06, 07, 08.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. I do think he's taken a lot of their younger fan base. His numbers are just bigger right now, right? Mm. Dude, how many times do we hear that these social media influencers are making more money than movie stars? They're making more money than, for sure, your singers right now, your artists, which is sad as fuck. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's a flex at all. I think a guy that makes music should make more money than a guy with internet content. The fuck? But that's not the case.
Sure. Yeah.
The case is they keep telling us these guys are making more money. They're getting more views, right? Look at the young man, Eye Speed. Mm-hmm. Look at how fucking huge this kid has gotten in this so many years. You know, Jake Paul actually needs to watch out because he might take over his fan base here in a little bit, right? And that's how fast that thing does turn sometimes too. Mm-hmm. But I think that's where Jake is right now. It just seems like anything the young man touches is kind of turning gold. I won't say platinum, but I'll say gold. And I don't think this train is stopping. This snowball, it's a snowball coming down on Dana White right now. He needs to be real careful. Dana in the UFC, look, you guys, and look, I told Miguel this. I'm gonna tell all of you guys this. I don't even know if they're gonna be really fighting the takeover. I really don't. They have cashed out, man. They bought a business and they have made billions of dollars in the return. They're done. If they have to be done, then they're done, right? We made our money. We can go move on. They seem really interested in the boxing and in WWE. They can move on to that, right? Just saying, if Jake Paul does start taking over, I don't know if Dana and them are really going to fight it. The numbers aren't growing on the UFC. Hell, McGregor didn't outdo 250. That should show you something, right? It sold out hella fast, even though they're talking about tickets being all screwy, and they're talking about tickets being screwy again for Ben and Garcia. I don't know if you heard that.
No, I did hear that yesterday.
Okay, so I don't know what's going on with, are they trying to make
some of those tickets? I looked online. I was talking to one of my buddies who might be in town that particular weekend. I was like, yo, let's talk about this. I went to go take a look at the tickets, dude. $1,200 for not being very close. Fuck that. Hell no. So they seem interested in boxing. They seem interested in the WWE. I don't think they're going to let the UFC go. I just don't think they're going to put up that much of a fight. Don't look for them to match dollar for dollar with Jake Paul. If Jake Paul goes out there and starts landing bigger deals and giving these guys more money than Dana White thinks the market is there for, I don't see them matching it. They're not going to just be like, no, fuck it. Let's just go in the red because we want to keep the sport. We're just going to go in the red. No. Well, how about that's the thing. At $7 billion, are they going to go in the red? You don't think they have the money to at least outlast, which is what they're trying to do really in boxing too, but outlast the new, what is it called, Johnny Come Lately in these guys now?
I don't know, because you're in the red every event, right? If you're in the red, you're taking away from everybody's money. Where does it stop? Is Dana White even got that type of drive in him? He seems older. He looks older. He looks heavier. He's definitely not in the gym anymore. You know what I mean? Like, does he have that? I don't know, dude. And I see them really not wanting you guys.
But they're just going to cower away and just let him win. Let MVP win. I don't think they do that.
No, I think they'd ride it until the wheels fall off.
Okay.
He will sign. He still has guys that want to fight for the UFC. Now, look, I got to tell you, they got to lay off of the wrestling Eastern European dudes, though, because those guys aren't selling tickets. That's all I keep seeing is how their fights are not selling anymore. No one likes the fucking ground and pound. I'm going to lay on you for 5 minutes. Nothing's going to happen. I don't know how many of those matches you can put on, right? The numbers are not there. They are not. This sport is not boxing when it comes to, are the fans buying into the fights? They don't make the same as in the fighting pay scale. They don't get the same viewerships as boxing has done on their platforms. We got another one coming up. Is Paramount running Garcia Ben? Yes, right? In America.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, it's huge. Oh, Miguel, I feel sorry. UFC is watching it that night. They're going to be watching it like, when you're looking at, is this the end? Is this the end? But what if fucking the boxing match brings in 23 million? What if Paramount then goes, hey, you know what? We got 500,000 subscribers yesterday because we had Ryan Garcia on our Paramount. What if those things start coming out? Well, what's that make for what do they have on the UFC, right? 9 million views in America for 250? Dude, boxing has been killing it on Netflix, dude. What if they bring in 20 million, I know there's only like 24 million subscribers. I'm throwing high numbers
But
because
you think it will? Like, do you think because we see it regularly whenever they post Zuffa stuff on like UFC content or UFC like accounts? They're like, "What the fuck is this bullshit? We don't want to see it on this right here." If the paramount people who watch it for the ones who do tune in for the UFC specifically in MMA and see this, I mean, will they tune in to watch the boxing and like you think it'll make that kind of an impact viewership wise? Because mind you, this is temporary. He's gonna go back to the zone, and then it's gonna be so. It's not like they're gonna maybe for all we know the subscribers aren't gonna stick around.
that might be, but Paramount is in a lot of homes of Ryan Garcia fans, right? All they got to do is tune in. Boxing obviously has heavier numbers. Dude, they're in the 40s. The other sports are not. Even fucking Jake Paul's only did 17 million. Crawford versus Canelo did 40 million. Jones, AJ versus Jake Paul did 40 million. Right? We're in the 40s. That's a lot of fucking homes, dude. I think a lot of those 40 million homes have Paramount Plus sitting on their TV too. UFC needs to be real nervous. What if Paramount fucking announces the numbers? This is gonna be like the first time, right?
Oh, instead of the UFC numbers.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
What if
that'd be a slap in the fucking face, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would.
Right. What if they're like Ben versus Garcia did freaking 13 million views? That's more than 9 million, right? It's so that fight we're really gonna pay attention to, but that going back to the Jake Paul thing, I don't know how big PFL is. Look, when I looked it up, when I was in the chat rooms, it seems like they have a few fighters that people are interested in. So now it's just about can the Jake Paul, is his touch really golden, right? Where when he says, "Hey, I want you guys to watch this kid," is all of his fans out there on YouTube just going to watch because Jake Paul told them to watch? Sort of like what Dana had, like you just said, in 2008. So that's where they're at now. I don't think the ball's slowing down. I haven't for a while. And he's just growing. The young man is just growing right now. We will see how we've seen what his first MMA fight did. It was very successful, right? So now we'll have to wait to see what he's gonna drop. Dude, he got like something like 200 plus MMA guys now. It's a lot of men.
It's a lot of men. Some we talked about earlier are related to Khabib Nurmagomedov, and they're the kind of wrestling type of dudes that will go in there, and so it won't. It's more of those guys. Yes, not all of them, obviously, right? But I have had the pleasure and the fortune of being approved for credentials for previous PFL events here in Las Vegas. As a matter of fact, ironically, at the Virgin, and 2 years in a row, 23 and 24. They used to do a season type of thing. They try to be like regular sports and did a regular season and postseason and then playoffs and then the finals kind of thing. And it worked for a little bit, but it stays that doesn't really work, frankly, for professional prize fighting in general, not just MMA, but just fighting in general. And they've since kind of like gone away from that, which I dig. It's a lot better. They signed Francis Ngannou for a lot of money, and they basically let him. Part of the contract was allowing him to go have his 2 boxing fights, right? Then ultimately that fell through and he left. Same thing with Jake Paul. Their CEO, I think was the CEO, I'm trying to remember his name, left. And then they brought in this new dude who I think was kind of already part of the crew anyway, but he kind of got the bump up. And then this happens here. So whether it's this new dude who is like running shit, John Martin, I think his name is. I'm trying to remember his name right offhand. I read it a few moments ago. But anyway, point is he's the one that's kind of in charge now. So I've gone to many of these events, right? Part of it as like a media, part of it as like just a spectator. They have fun fights. The events are fucking good. I'm not going to say they're not good. And they have a lot of good talent. I'm not going to say they don't. One particular female fighter, 125 pound, I think it was 125 pounds, but English chick. This girl is awesome. She's fun as fuck to watch. Not much of a grappler, even though she does have a lot of grappling, but it's really her striking that people tune in to watch. So they have potential stars. That's the thing. That's the thing when you said, like, I don't know how big PFL is. It wasn't that big. They really were a distant second place from the UFC.
Yeah, and that's where we have to see where the MVP connection is. Is that going to change now? You know, so a great move for Jake Paul. I don't know what it means for the PFL because most of the time There will be cuts when your company gets absorbed by another one. But great for Jake Paul. And also, didn't Jake Paul take somebody from the UFC? Isn't his second right-hand guy an ex-UFC former boss, right?
Yeah, he was
So
up there. From up until about 2016, or whenever TKO at the time they were called like Endeavor or something like that, when they first bought it, or when it was sold for like $4 billion, I forgot how much it was when it first sold. I think from that point forward, he wasn't involved. I want to say, but this guy, this Nikisa Badarian, the guy that's always next to him, that guy right there in particular. Yeah. Then if you hear Dana White talk about him, he talks mad shit about him, calling him a scumbag, left, right, all this other shit. So they had a bad falling out. So I don't know to what degree he was in it. I know that he was very, very much involved in the purchase of the or the sell, I guess, from the Fertitas to Endeavor. I want to say that's what it was, but yes, he was very much involved with the UFC prior to 2016 or something like that. Yeah.
And this could be a vendetta story for him, right? Like maybe this is his get back at what the UFC trying to ruin him. He knows a lot of the ins and outs, maybe of how they were doing business, and so he's got the blueprint on how to be a MMA company, right? But take out the BS angles or whatever advantages that the UFC was giving themselves over these fighters. Put more power in the fighters' hands. He might already have. Look, I gotta say that one MMA event they did show, a lot of UFC legends were there.
Yes,
UFC fighters were there. Did you see one of the UFC? I think it must have been Khabib, because he said his brother was there. So did you see him there with the PFL shirt on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not like they're like, oh, your company sucks. We would like put it this way: Earl Spence and the PBC guys wouldn't have been wearing Top Rank shirts back in the day, right? They would be like, oh, you're on the wrong side of the street. So at least they're not doing that to the MMA MVP side, right? He had some legends there for the Carano fight.
And
Rousey, yeah, thank you. Rousey fight, and then now at the PFL one, he has another MMA guy walking around with the PFL shirt. Dana might have been a little bit upset, like, hey, fucker, I don't mind that you go see your brother, but you legit need to wear their colors, and like, come on, you have some loyalty, but whatever the case.
I think he was in his corner, actually, like literally in his corner. So they gave him the kit, right? So he's gonna wear a sport. They gave me one. It's just a fucking medium, and I look like a fucking sausage in it, shit, because it's so damn small. But I got hooked up with a hat and everything. I was like, fuck yeah, I sport that fucking hat because they let me in as media, right? But yeah, yes, you are correct. They're not doing that.
Yeah, pretty cool. So we will see where this goes. It's all good for the MMA world. More competition.
That's precisely what I was going to get at, because and what is one of the conversation that you and I were having, it maybe it lights a fire under Dana, and then we get better shit, because ultimately it's competition. That's the thing. Good for the fighters because they have a choice now. They have somewhere else to go, right? Good for the fans because we have an alternative, and frankly, good for us because they're going to most likely try to compete with one another, at least on paper. On theory, we think they will, to try to outdo one another, put on the better cards. That got to be better for fans and the fans numbers in general. The fans membership to go up. I think at least if that's the case, if it's not like you said that maybe they're just like, oh fuck, I wouldn't give two fucks about these guys, and we're just gonna do our thing anyway. And if people watch it, they don't, and just right into the wheels fall off.
What's the old saying in the street? Game recognizes game, right? In the last week, we had Eddie Hearn, who's a pretty big promoter, asked Jake Paul to help him co-promote his women fighters in America. And now we have the PFL asking him to co-promote, the PFL. He knows what he maybe naturally knows what he's doing as a promoter. I don't know if he knew this was what he was going to be when he was growing up, making the first coming out as an influencer, if his goal is always to be a promoter, but he's definitely filling those shoes nicely.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to add to that before we move on to the last topic here?
No, sir.
All right. This one was a little bit of a funny one, and I didn't see this until afterwards. I don't think I would have been able to ask him anyway. But it was a quick quote from Robert Garcia. The aforementioned Robert Garcia, who I ran into at the Virgin last week and last Friday. And he says that Netflix approached him about a documentary that they were doing on Anthony Joshua. So they reached out to him because, he was with them for a few months. I think it said 4 or 5 months, something like that. And Robert Garcia said no. He declined it. Online here, I was able to find this, which is kind of strange. This quote, the strange quote from Robert Garcia. He says, Netflix were reaching out to me because they were doing a documentary on him talking about Anthony Joshua. I denied it because I don't want to be part of this. I'm not going to lie either. And that's it. And that's the end of the quote, right? And basically saying like there's some shit that he probably found out or he knows about Anthony Joshua that might not be very flattering and most likely will make him look kind of bad. And he's like, I'm not going to try to like sugarcoat it and try to make it nice for this documentary. I will tell you the truth. And I would much rather not take part of this entirely rather than to just come out and say the shit because I'm not going to make no shit up and I'm not going to lie. I would much rather just not take part and keep my mouth shut, and then to go on here and give you guys some sort of BS story. So of course, naturally, I'm like, well, what the hell could it be? What is he talking about, right? What did he find out, or what did he know? Does he know of Anthony Joshua that he doesn't want to tell? That might not be very flattering. That he doesn't want to tell the Netflix documentary, and most certainly is going to lie about it. So Andrew, you had your suspicions. I just want you to throw in your 2 cents on this here. What in the world could Robert Garcia be talking about?
I mean, look, I think it's pretty easy to read between the lines on this one. Anthony Joshua definitely probably has some kind of health issues that he's not going to lie about. He's not going to hide. Because we're seeing AJ hit the canvas so much nowadays, you would have to think maybe he's sparring. He's not staying on his feet, right? Mm-hmm. What I'm hoping that it's not is remember when they said when Ali was fighting like Larry Holmes, there's like videos of him not being able to, and I've actually seen them. I didn't act like they're not out there. You can watch them on YouTube, but he can't hit the speed bag, or he keeps grabbing the speed bag. He keeps grabbing it because he just, his functions are diminishing.
The coordination is going downhill.
Yeah. Is AJ already showing signs of that? Right. But I want to say it's probably headgear isn't even keeping him on his feet anymore, and that's what's sad, is that the young man keeps fighting, and we're all cheering. I'm over here like, maybe no one retires. Right. Robert's like, I fucking hate these people. It's people like this guy right here. I'm like, it's getting pretty soft. Oh no, you might have a career here, Miguel.
Yeah. After I said, right off into the sunset, like, no, not quite yet. I don't think we're going to get there quite. Like, oh, okay. If you listen to Robert talk more, there's a couple of clips of him talking. He's saying stuff like, everybody is really rooting for Anthony Joshua when he comes back, right? Because of the tragedy that took place last year. And it's like, everybody's rooting for him to come back and really win this fight with Prenga, which he ultimately did, and then ultimately fight Fury. And he goes, that's not always a good thing. Him coming back, or anybody coming back, sometimes that happens with people. That's not always a good thing, but everybody's cheering him on, and a lot of people are like really rooting for him. And I think he's seeing it, or he says he thinks he's seeing it, and just like wanting to continue. But Robert Garcia says sometimes that's not a good thing. Sometimes they do need to step away, and sometimes now is the time. And that is leading to what you're talking about. Some stuff that he saw during training camp in the 4 months that he was with him that says, I don't think it's a good thing for him to return to the ring. He did it, and he managed to win against Prenga, but it's going to probably be bad news once he faces Fury.
Okay, so, and if it is about the accident, it's possible he was talking about maybe the Prenga fight is what he did not want AJ to do, and that this not a head issue. It's more of, and when I say head issue, it's still going to be a head issue because it's the accident, it's the trauma that AJ went through, but not actual trauma in the brain that's making him, get knocked down easier. So if it is that, that's better for AJ, at least, all right, because that means they were just rushing him when maybe he's seen that the young man is breaking down still. He's not, he's just feeling the loss of his friends still. too much where he might get hurt. He's not 100% in it. That's a way better theory of why he meant that than what I first thought. So I'm glad you actually brought up that later on he's talking about the car accident and not just
he doesn't specify the car accident. He just says, like, you know, people see him come back from something like that.
Something like that,
yeah.
Right. It's still implicating maybe that he's talking about they just rushed him to come back to the ring, which is way better than me thinking the guy might have fucking signs of CTE already. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, some kind of side effect from boxing and getting knocked out so many times or knocked down. So either way, it was not a good look. Look, if I'm AJ, I'm kind of calling Garcia though, right? Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, or like maybe Netflix should have let Anthony Joshua know, like, hey, we're gonna reach out to this dude. So at least Anthony been like, yo, no, don't reach out to him. So don't put him in this situation. I would much rather not him. But I guess I don't know how that happened. Just to throw another monkey wrench into this, just going on what I was able to find on Google real quick. Robert Garcia was Anthony Joshua's head trainer for his August 2022 rematch with Alexander Usyk. So whatever Robert Garcia saw was before the accident. This was before, it was back in 2022 when he was with Anthony Joshua. So when he was referring to him coming back from something like that, it's, I guess, him just kind of connecting the dots, saying like sometimes it's not a good thing. And then we see what happens with him getting dropped with Prenga. But whatever Robert Garcia saw or maybe sees currently in Anthony Joshua, he must know from when he trained him back in 2022, which was solid 4 years ago, way before the tragedy.
I wonder why Garcia had to come out and say anything. If you're not going to spill the beans, why would you even stir the pot?
Yeah, that's true, right? Yeah, if Netflix approached you and you're like, no, I don't want to do it. All right, leave it there. Let it die there and not really like bring it up on a later interview, because now, of course, people are going to start to speculate and they're going to try to pull it out of them.
And does the price go up?
The story is like, I got footage of this car accident, just like going to sell it to the news reporters. But yeah, I guess it would, right? Like, all right,
boxing's dirty. I'm throwing a lot of shade on boxing tonight with no evidence, you guys. But I'm just saying, Garcia.
Well, no evidence, but it has a track record, so it's not like we're just throwing it out of nowhere.
And it's like, he's like, I don't want to tell you the juicy story that I have, but I have a juicy story.
Right. I don't want to tell you about a certain sparring session with a certain, English fighter that I happen to see, but, maybe for the right number of zeros, you will find out about it. Yeah, that's game. This exactly. This is, as we always say, it's the Wild West of sports, y'all. This shit happens. All right. Anything else you want to add to that bit?
I can't wait until they get to the bottom of why Robert. Someone's going to ask him. We're not the only ones that thought of, why did you even say anything if you don't really want to say it? Because now we all want to know, and that's all that's going to ever be asked to you. And I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony gets big enough to where they want to do a documentary later on. They want what's that story that everyone wanted to know about, but no one ever got the bottom to? Yeah, call Robert up. See, ask him $250,000. Will he tell us?
Right. It's like, maybe I get a new gym. If you get you can fix me up a new gym, in Oxnard. I'll spill the beans. He won't need to have those like Mitsubishi fucking sponsors on his damn shirt anymore. Okay. That I think concludes everything we wanted to talk about here on the Sunday night now. Andrew, was there anything else you'd like to add on to this before we call it a show?
No, sir. Got to be up at 3 a.m. Got a restaurant to do.
Holy hell! You shouldn't have had that coffee, because now you're not going to sleep tonight, son.
Oh yeah, let's talk about conspiracy theories or something. Oh, she hates it when I pull these nighters.
Oh jeez, I can imagine. Like, no, fuck that. You're sleep on the couch. Fuck this shit. You and your 4 shots of espresso. Take this blanket out there. All right, so that is going to do it for us. We will be back as we usually are on Wednesday and talking about whatever fights coming up during the weekend. But until then, for my co-host Andrew, don't get it twisted, Lapiche. I am Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, and this has been the Mad Boxing Show. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Take care. Peace.